It's 2 in the morning and you're wide awake. Not anxious, not sick, just awake. Heart steady, mind clear, almost peaceful in a way that feels wrong given the hour. So you do what everyone does. You reach for your phone, you check the time, you calculate how many hours of sleep you can still salvage. You feel the low hum of dread that says, something is broken inside you. But what if nothing is broken? What if your body just remembered something your civilization forgot? We have been told, for as long as we can remember, that the natural way to sleep is one long unbroken block. 8 hours, straight through. If you can't do it, you have insomnia, you have anxiety, you need medication, a sleep study, a white noise machine, melatonin at 9 p.m. The entire sleep industry, worth over $60 billion, exists to fix something we decided was broken. But here is what no one told you. The 8-hour sleep block is not ancient. It is not natural. It is not what your body evolved to do. It was invented, somewhere around the 17th century, and it came not from biology, but from economics. For most of human history, for tens of thousands of years, people didn't sleep once. They slept twice. A first sleep and a second sleep, with a quiet, wakeful hour in between. It wasn't a disorder. It wasn't a problem to solve. It was simply the night, which raises the question that should rearrange something in your chest. What else are we treating as broken that is actually just human? In 1992, a psychiatrist named Thomas Wehr ran an experiment at the National Institute of Mental Health. He took a group of healthy adults, no sleep disorders, no history of insomnia. He placed them in controlled conditions with 14 hours of darkness per night, simulating pre-industrial, pre-electric nightfall, for 4 consecutive weeks. No lamps, no screens, no artificial light after dusk. Just the dark, the way it existed before Edison made it optional. For the first 3 weeks, the subjects slept longer than usual, as though paying off a debt. Sleep scientists call this catching up on accumulated deficit. Most people in the modern world are chronically, quietly sleep deprived in ways they've normalized. But in the 4th week, something shifted. The subjects began sleeping in 2 distinct phases. They'd fall asleep around 8 or 9 in the evening, sleep for about 4 hours, then wake, not groggy, not disoriented, but quietly alert, for 1 to 2 hours, then fall back into a second, deeper sleep until dawn. Wehr called this bimodal sleep. He also measured their hormone levels during that middle hour. What he found was striking. Prolactin, a hormone associated with deep calm and meditative states, was flooding their systems. Not stress hormones, not cortisol. Prolactin, the same chemical a nursing mother produces. The same chemical that washes over you in the moments of deepest peace you've ever felt. They weren't anxious in the dark, they were resting inside the dark. Wehr concluded that the consolidated 8-hour sleep block was likely a product of artificial light, not biology. That human beings, returned to natural darkness, remember something older. Wehr's experiment was only confirming what a historian had already found buried in the archives. His name was Roger Ekirch. He spent 16 years combing through diaries, court records, medical texts, and literature from medieval and early modern Europe. He was looking for something specific, and he found it in over 500 historical documents spanning centuries, reference after reference to something called first sleep and second sleep, not as a curiosity, not as a problem, as an ordinary, unremarkable fact of life. A physician in 1500s France wrote that the best time for couples to conceive was between the first and second sleep, because both partners were rested enough to be present, but not yet returned to sense and to unconsciousness. A 15th century medical textbook advised readers to study or read during the waking hour, because the mind was in its most receptive state. A prayer manual from 15th century England specified the hour between sleeps as the optimal time for devotion, because the self was most porous to the divine. Court records across medieval Europe referenced crimes committed, arguments resolved, and letters written between the sleeps, in Chaucer, in Homer, in references to prayer, to crime, to daily domestic life. The structure was the same everywhere. 2 sleeps, a natural intermission, then dawn. This wasn't a Mediterranean thing, or a peasant thing, or a cold climate thing. It was documented across cultures, across centuries, across economic classes. It was simply what the night looked like when there was no electricity. And then, almost overnight, it disappeared. Here's what happened. Sometime in the 17th century, coffee houses began spreading across Europe. Gaslighting arrived in cities. Work hours extended into the dark. The Industrial Revolution reorganized human life around factory schedules. Clocks, not sun cycles. Productivity was the new religion, and sleep was its enemy. The wealthy began to pride themselves on not sleeping in two phases. Waking between sleeps became associated with the lower classes, with people who couldn't afford to keep a lamp burning and had nothing to do in the dark. Within a few generations, the cultural memory erased itself completely. By the early 19th century, the two-sleep pattern had vanished from common reference. It wasn't replaced with a better way of sleeping. It was replaced with a demand to sleep faster, in fewer hours without interruption, because the night now had to compete with productivity. Sleep didn't change. The economy changed, and we pathologized everything that didn't fit the new schedule. Now, the next part is where it gets personal. Studies of pre-industrial communities that still live without artificial light, groups in Bolivia, Namibia, and Madagascar, show that they naturally wake during the night. Not every night, but regularly. They don't treat it as insomnia. They don't call it a disorder. In some communities, there isn't even a word for waking at night that carries a negative connotation. It's just being awake, between the sleeps, like a comma in a long sentence. The Tiv people of Nigeria traditionally conceptualized the night in two halves, with a natural social gathering point in the middle. You weren't broken if you were awake. You were just in between. What Wehr's subjects did with their waking hour also matters. Some prayed, some wrote, some lay quietly and thought, some had sex. Some reported that their dreams from the first sleep lingered like memories, vivid, accessible, not yet dissolved by daylight. They described the hour with words like liminal, suspended, unlocked, not anxious, not disordered, open. Think about the last time you woke at 2 a.m. What did you do? You probably fought it. You checked your phone, which made it worse. You ran calculations about how exhausted you'd be at 7 a.m. You cataloged your worries. You turned the waking into evidence of something wrong. You treated a natural biological pause as a malfunction. And here's what that cost you. The hour between your sleeps, the hour your body was designed to offer you, got converted into anxiety, into dread, into proof of damage. Imagine if you hadn't. Imagine if instead you lay there, in the dark, without reaching for anything. Prolactin in your blood, dreams still warm at the edges of your mind. The world outside, completely quiet. No deliverables, no identity to perform, just the comma between the sleeps. Your ancestors didn't waste that hour on cortisol. They used it. They prayed in it, thought in it, talked softly in it, wrote in it, made love in it, wept in it, and let it be exactly what it was, a natural gap in the dark that belonged entirely to them. You have that same hour available to you. But you've been told it's a symptom. The deeper question isn't really about sleep. It's about what else we've been convinced is broken. That is just biology dressed in the wrong century. How many of the things you pathologize about yourself were designed for a world that doesn't exist anymore? How many of your disorders are simply mismatches between an ancient body and a modern economy? The need to rest in the afternoon, the pull toward darkness in winter, the way certain kinds of silence feel not empty but full. The strange clarity that arrives at 2 a.m. when everything is still and the world has stopped asking anything of you. We did not design our nervous systems. We inherited them from people who slept beneath the same stars in two quiet halves, who woke in the middle of the night and felt, not dread, but something closer to arrival. The night was always split in two. We just forgot which half we were standing in.